What's up, guys? I'm trying to figure out why StreamerBot's not sending to YouTube chat again. Annoying. Very annoying. I cannot wait to see the Tyson and Jake Paul fight. I hope Tyson just wrecks his world. Chris, I'd say if you're thinking about that tech bundle, that threat intel bundle, hold off on it. It's cool. If you just have, I forget how much it costs, but some extra money you want to toss at it, totally can. But I would say hold off on it till you get a little bit better understanding of the landscape and where you want to fit into it. Just noticed my audio. It's weird. Hey, Debbie. What's up, my brother? Let me... Hang on one second. Audio's off. I didn't mean to click that, but hey, here we are. I think I can hear it, though. Can y'all hear the background music okay? Oh, it is. My audio's turned down. There we go. Levels are good? Alright. Sweet. I hope everyone had a fantastic hump day. Dude, APT was exceptionally A today. So currently, the sock is containing him in his bed. Let me get this jockey one here. So I realized a little bit of something as I was talking to Mr. It's a Feature, and I was mistaken. Mythic 3.2, which is what we had running in the lab, is not the beta version. I thought I checked for it, but no, Mythic 3.3 is the current beta branch. So even though we went through all that work of getting 3.2 set up last night and getting our first callback, I decided to scrap it all and set up 3.3. The process was almost exactly the same. All you have to do is whenever you get ready to clone it, you just specify branch Mythic 3.3. And then bam, you can clone out that particular branch. So I got that all set up, which means, unfortunately, now we're going to have to go reset up all that stuff. Oh, Deadbeef coming in with 6 community subs. Thanks, brother. I have to call the gifted subs conscripts, because the idea is like we've got users online. That's when someone follows. When somebody subscribes to the channel, then that's like they become an agent. But what if somebody gets gifted a sub? I guess that would technically make them a conscript. Nice try, Franklin's mom. There can be only one. Wow, this is like Highlander. What is Highlander? It's a movie. Oh, is it good? Yeah, very good. Won the Academy Award. Oh, really? For what? Best movie ever. Alright, so I started up Mythic 3.3. Let's see if it actually tells us what version we're running now. Okay, so this is still showing Mythic 3.2. Did I not shut down 3.2? Where I redid all that? Uh-oh. Mythic... Let's see, let's stop. Because I realized I copied over the Mythic code, but I never stopped the Mythic 3.2 containers. Dude, it's that, yeah, Mythic is like completely microservices. It's pretty cool the way it works. All right, let's see. So now that we're over in Mythic, so I also did something different here too. So remember how we made an alias for Mythic CLI? I made a second one for stable. That one will go to Mythic 3.2 if we want to use that one. But the regular Mythic CLI now points to the beta branch on 3.3. Yeah, it's basically all Docker composed. Hey, Evo, what's up, dude? By the way, where was it? Chris claimed first blood this evening. I really want to like design an overlay for the stream to have a couple of like indicators, almost like maybe a game HUD. And one of the things would be whoever gets what I call first blood, it's the first person to post a message after the chat goes live. Yeah, you drew first blood, Chris. Usually SM is very fast on the draw though. But you snaked it from him by like 3 seconds. We were trying to figure out JavaScript combining strings, and I drew first blood. Alright. Well, let's do this. Let's do Mythic CLI start. So we're going to start the new one. Give me 1 second, I'll be right back. Remembered something I needed to do to make the socks life a little easier. Terminal stream, let's go, right? All right, cool. So the actual new Mythic 3.3 should be up and running now. So let's log into it. Alright, so I don't think this one has any of our payloads or anything in it, so we're gonna have to go remake some stuffs. Let's go remake our things. I think there's a way to upgrade in place, But I wasn't really concerned about that because everything we're doing is just kind of testing. We're FAing around with Mythic. So having a couple of repetitions in here, it's not going to hurt anything. So one thing we need to do is let's go grab a copy of Apollo again. Hang on 1 second. What's going on here? I'm not going to worry about it. Let's see. So let's go grab. So we need the C2 profile. We're also going to want the S&B profile, and then we're going to want what is it? The Apollo agent. Why you logged me out? Oh no, it's Mythic admin, and then I think that's it. Check Mythic logs. Ruh-roh. Gotta get clothes ready to try and get ready for bed since I have to be on site tomorrow. Oh yeah, you were telling about that. Good luck with the on-site. Oh, you said it was pretty simple stuff too. So hopefully it's a nice, chillax assessment. All right, let's see. Crap, what is the Mythic password? I forget. I'm sure it's just Mythic_admin, isn't it? Got a 403. What the deuce? Let's see. Logs. Can I see a list of the containers? Oh, there we go. There's a way to actually include a completion script in here. I either crack the handshake or I sit in place for a whole day and do nothing. Right? So I'll tell you a funny story, laughing, is I had one assessment where I couldn't capture any handshakes, so I tried a couple of de-auths. It wasn't working on anybody. Then as I started looking at the stuff that was IoT stuff, Arab Marison. Okay, all right. Thanks for coming online. Welcome. What I found was they had an Ecobee thermostat, and that did respond to the deauth packets. So I deauthed the Ecobee and was able to capture the handshake that way. Because I was trying like laptops and other stuff, users' cell phones, and it was just like, yeah, whatever, bro, ignoring the deauth packets. As soon as I did the Ecobee, though, it's like, okay, champ, sure thing. Let me check the status here. I don't know which one it is. Maybe it'd be this server. They all seem to be running and are healthy. Let's look at our env file real quick. There's the Mythic admin password. There. We'll try that. Ah, there we go. That's what it was. Let's see. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually go edit that real quick. Let's vim that real fast. Let's come all the way down here. Let me just search for the actual string I'm looking for. Mythic password. Admin password. There we go. And then what we'll do is we'll make this. Dang it, I think I need to actually sudo edit this. And then we'll make this just password. There we go. X out of that. And then let me do this a little bit differently too. We're going to do Mythic 3.2 env. We're going to do the same thing down here. We'll delete to the end of the line. We'll set this just to password as well. Exit out of that. That way, whenever we can sync up the passwords between the two here. And I think I have to do a Mythic CLI restart to propagate that. I think we could just like restart one of the machines, but I'm just going to reboot them all. I got to the AV evasion module and RTO and my head is spinning. So the main thing you're trying to do there is, you know, you just, because it's very simple evasion against Defender, right? Because you're just doing static evasions. And so you're trying to figure out where in the code, because remember, when you're doing a static evasion, I don't know if I even have the iPad up. I don't. Hang on 1 second. Let me connect the iPad of knowledge fast here. All right, there we go. There. It's banned. There we go. So what you're doing, just think about this, and this is the main overview of what you're trying to do, right? Clear all this out. As you think about it, you've got your beacon code, right? And your beacon code has basically just little blocks of bytes in it. And what you've got is you've got a couple of ones in here that are going to be flagged as malicious. Maybe it's like these three, right? So there's an iterative process you're going to go through where you run threat check, and that's going to spit out an address where in the binary you're seeing the stuff, right? So then you can pull up Ghidra, as I like to call it, and when you go in through Ghidra, you can then go find out, okay, hey, here's where the offset was. Actually, this is technically not an address, it's an offset. So once you go find that offset, you can start looking at how does Ghidra actually decompile the code, right? So you're going to see, and typically one of the big offenders is XOR operations. So you're probably going to see that. Once you figure out kind of where this first one points to, you can then kind of figure out, hey, this is where it was in the beacon loader code. Go modify it, get it unbroken, and then once this passes the check, you're going to do this process again. You're going to come back over here. You're going to rerun threat check once you kill that first like XOR, right? That's gone. Rerun the process again. You're going to get a new offset, and then it's probably going to be another XOR, because that's one of the easier, let's call it encryption formats that malware will use, and then you're going to kill that one, and so that might point to this one right here. And once you do that, and so you're going to go through this process 2, 3, 4 times until you finally get a binary that's not flagging on stuff. And so I went through and actually I practiced doing that just to get really comfortable with it, because I knew I was going to have to do it on the exam, and just went through just doing this loop here, just killing it. And also this is going to change depending on which evasion method you use when you pull up the Arsenal kit. Because when you pull up the Arsenal kit, they're using the pipe one, but you've got other ones like the mail slot. Gosh, what's the other one? Peak. There's that one in there. I think it's Peak. I don't know if it's EEK or EAK. But depending on which one of these evasions you do, also it's going to be different in how you form them. So what I did was I stuck to pipe. I also messed, I think, with peak a bit, and that's what I used on the exam. Just pipe and peak, and I got to go through it. So the main thing here is you want to understand the process, I would say, but also don't worry too much on it, because this is one of those topics that gets real deep real fast. Because you're getting into the active, like, EDR cat and mouse game of trying to get your beacon code past the antivirus. Yeah, that's for the RTO course, Chris. I almost read that as Wabi stood. Welcome online, man. Okay, so Mythic should be back up and running now. So let's go log back in here. Actually, let's log out. And I'm gonna go log back in. It's the log out button. There it is. We'll do Mythic admin password. Wait, did it not load it? Yes. For some reason, it still wants the really long password. I wonder why. Even though we went through and we changed the env file. Yeah, right there. We changed it to just password. Maybe there's a setting in the Mythic CLI that I'm missing. Let's see. Backup build, completion, config, display or adjust the configuration. Let's try the config command here. Let's see what it does. Config tag H. Set the specified configuration value. Alright, so this would be our Mythic, I think it's admin password, or just set the password. Your containers down and up. So would not restarting them do that? Let's try. Oh man, I did my workout for today because I hadn't done it the last 2 days. And I'm trying to get at least 3 in a week because it's a 3-day split. So it's like basically like arms, smaller muscles, and then legs. And then so I did that today, and one of them was wrist curls, and oh my freaking forearms are killing me. It's making typing hard. Let's go see if this actually works now. Log out. Mythic admin. I spell admin right. Password. Oh, you suck. What version of Mythic are we on here? Yeah, it's still showing 3.3. That's weird. I'll have to ask him about that. My PT just bumped up my jogging intervals from 90 seconds to 120 seconds. Nice. So I'm going through a hypertrophy protocol, and actually it's supposed to be 6 days a week. I'm honestly having to work up to that because, especially when I do the leg days, it requires a lot of core stability, and my core muscles are not up to the task right now. So I'm doing what I can, and I'm just kind of incrementally increasing those. Now, Chris, no DEF CON this year. Usually I would go, and I was teaching a course at Black Hat for the last 4 years. So I would, but even then that was virtual. So I hadn't been to DEF CON in a while. I went last year, and between trainings, which started Saturday, right? They finished today. And then you have Black Hat, and then you got DEF CON after that. I was in Vegas for 11 days, which is like 8 more days than I will tolerate in Vegas. I'm recovering from an ACL surgery right now, and I'm used to running 30 miles a week. Damn. Running has always been a really hard subject for me because my calves are just like cinder blocks, and so it's just like two giant weights weighing my ass down every time. Yeah, that is way too long in Vegas, man. I've told this story before, but when I got back, I was so happy to be back, even with APT, who was exceptionally high on the A scale during that time period, going through his terrible twos. I was so happy to be back, and like my wife made me a very basic meal. It was like sweet potatoes, like mashed sweet potatoes, and some vegetables, and some ground beef. That was it, and some butter. I hit that bowl like a starving man getting off the desert, like getting out of the desert off of an abandoned island. Something else was like, oh, oh. I was like, oh god, home cooking. Oh. My wife's standing behind me like, breathe, son. Take a breath. Bring this up. Let's see here. Okay, so let's go grab our... I think this is Apollo, right? This was Service Wrapper. Actually, I don't need Service Wrapper right now, but I do need Apollo. So we'll go grab the Apollo agent real fast. And are there other branches here? Okay, so there's a Mythic 3/3 branch for Apollo as well. Yeah, Chris, when you've been away from home that long, and you just go, like, you get home and you get the food actually made with, like, tender, loving care, it's like manna from on high. It's like, oh, so good. And it doesn't have to be anything extravagant either, right? All right, I gotta remember how to do this. Hang on one sec. Because when I was talking with Mr. It's a Feature earlier, he gave me a tip on it. I don't remember what he said. Okay, so all the C2 profiles and payload types specify TAC B Mythic 3/3 whenever you're adding it. So we'll try that real quick. We'll go grab... I think we have to grab this one. Copy. And we'll see what happens here. So we pop up back over to Debian. So what we want to do is we want to do Mythic install. I didn't do the autocomplete in here. Install GitHub. I think TAC H. Let's try that. Yeah, okay, so you specify the branch. So we'll do TAC B Mythic 3.3, and then just drop in the link to it. Cloning into Mythic 3.3.10. Cloning the branch Mythic 3.3. All right, cool. Because Mr. It's a Feature told me that there was a lot of backend changes to it, and so I thought 3.2 was the beta branch. Then he reminded me that no, 3.3 is the beta branch. So I was like, okay, we haven't done a whole lot, and it doesn't hurt going through the redeployment and configuration steps again. So I decided today I would just take out Mythic 3.2. I did a little bit of shuffling, so we still have 3.2 in here if we want to use it, but we're going to switch over to 3.3 because it is the wave of the future. Let's see. So now that if we go install Senior Apollo, refresh this. So in here, I'm not seeing it yet. Hey, Oni, what's up, dude? I think what we need to do is, let me read this. So this is just settings about some of the backend services, which we don't need. Okay, so if you're using a remote payload or C2 type, certain environment variables, don't need that. Let's try Mythic's status. Getting ready for tomorrow. I'll be in Vegas by 1 p.m. Nice. Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of the pictures people have been posting from Vegas, you know, on Zitter. I feel weird calling it X, and I feel weird calling it Twitter, so I'm going to call it Zitter. Okay, let's see here. So, last night I had to restart it, but if we look at the... call it Twitter X. Twitter Extreme. Because down here in the documentation it says installation. So, we run install GitHub, we put out Apollo. Does it tell us that we need to like start the containers or restart them? Oh, we also need to go get the HTTP profile. So we'll go get that in just a second. Locked! Hey man, hadn't seen you in a bit. Thanks for the resub, dude. How you been, man? Process listing, all the fun stuff. So I wonder if I need to... Oh, let me come over to the 3.3 branch. Because the documentation might have changed here. Let's see. That's not what I wanted. Let me look at here. So if we do installation, that's configuring your install. Where's the install for agents though? Okay. If you have an agent already installed, but you want to update it, you can do the same thing and supply the tag F at the end. You know what, let's go try, maybe we need to install the agent and the, well no, because we should have still seen the agent pop up here. That's what I'm, oh wait, hold on. I'm an idiot. Generate new payload. Windows. There's Apollo, cool, so Apollo did pop up in here. Let's go grab the HTTP profile. And again, we're going to grab the Mythic 3.3 version of that. So we'll pop back over into Senior Mythic. And we'll just modify the URL a bit. Just moving and building furniture the last 3 days. I think I hate it more than anything. That's right, I forgot you were moving, man. I hope that went easy. I hope that went nice and smooth for you. Let's see. So now, let's go back over to our C2 profiles. So one of the mistakes we made last time, right, is we tried to create a payload before we defined our C2 profile, right? So let's go modify this guy. So instance name, we're just going to call it, I'm going to call it reverse IP here. Because the DNS seems to be a little functified right now, so we're just going to do it by IP address. So this should be 10.4.10.101. We're going to leave all this stuff the same. Do create. Doing the CPTS in 2 weeks, but everything... Okay, hold on. So every other thing than building the stuff, it's almost done though. Nice. And then you're taking the CPTS in 2 weeks. Cool, man. Dude, Chris, I really like the Jocko drinks because they don't have as much caffeine and they don't have any of the junk that Monster does. I will, in a pinch, like if I'm on the road, I'll go grab a Monster. But typically, I try to plan in advance, and like if I know I'm going to need some caffeine or something to wake my brain up, this is my go-to. They are really good. Not sponsored by Jocko. Yet. One day it'll happen. One Jocko left in the fridge. I'm saving it for tomorrow. Worth. When I get sponsored, I want a deal. Dude, I'm planning on cutting him like the most sweethearted deals. I'm like, you send me 2 cases of Jocko a month, and you got a deal. That's all I want. Just two, maybe 3 cases of Jocko a month, and we'll call it square. I'm a cheap date. Let's see here. Okay, so we set up an HTTP profile. Let's go grab one more thing real quick. Let's go grab our SMB profile. Wait. Yes, we want the SMB profile too. So what we'll do... Yeah. Let's see if SMB has a 3.3 rewrite. It does. Nice. So... let's go install that real quick. Pasta. Because what we're going to do is we're going to use HTTP, obviously, for egress, but then we're going to try and just pivot everything over SMB. Chris like, shoot, I'll call Jocko for you. If I ever make it out to San Diego, I would like to go visit his gym, Victory MMA, to go check it out. Dude, I don't know what it is about, particularly Apple products. The autocomplete on them is just so atrocious. Dude, it popped right up. Okay, cool. Very nice. Very nice. Let's go modify this one real quick. Rather than having this random pipe name, we're going to call this LazeBits 0. Instance names. LazeBits 0. Great. So let's go make us a couple of payloads now. Generate a new payload for Windows. And we'll do Apollo Windows executable. And we're going to leave it with just like the default command set. And this is actually what I wanted to do. So we left off last night. We had a callback from the one of the child domains back into Mythic, but that was on Mythic 3.2. So we can easily go reestablish that. I'm going to accept that, let it propagate, and then we're going to call this one Mythic HTTP. Great payload. Start over. We're going to do the same thing again, but this time we're going to give it the SMB profile. There we go. Next. And then this will be Apollo SMB. So we'll let those go ahead and build real fast. And also, one thing we did do is over here on DC2, which is where we had our foothold, we disabled Defender. So at least we disabled the real-time checks anyway. So Defender's currently, it should be enabled on here, but I'm not worried about bypassing Defender right now. We'll do that again later. I want to get a better feeling for like, hey, this is what we do in Mythic to accomplish an equivalent task we had done in Cobalt Strike. So that's the goal here. We're not going to let the minutia tear us down from achieving that goal. Building in progress. Because particularly I'm interested in things like, so this is all a web interface, right? We had a thick Java client that we used for Cobalt Strike. So we could go past it stuff like, hey, I want to do an execute assembly from the C drive. So we do like C, tools, Rubius, whatever. I'm wondering, okay, well, how do we accomplish that same task in here? Because this is all web driven, right? This interface doesn't have access to our disk drive by just the nature of it being inside of a browser. If it was an Electron app, it'd be different. And that was something I actually toyed with. It's like, hey, maybe if I ported this over to be something kind of like Electron, we could customize the interface a little better. Currently, my favorite feature of Mythic is the interface for the socks proxies being 2 pairs of socks right here. That's the best thing ever. And this is probably a Firefox thing, but for some reason... What's the thumbs down? Oh, send support feedback. Nice. Let me reload this. Sometimes this UI gets stuck and doesn't reload, but I think that's a Firefox thing. I really want to like Firefox. I used Firefox a ton back in the day, but the world seems to have moved on away from Firefox. So let's download. Let's download this. Yeah. Download and download. Actually, you know what I need to do? Let's go back over here. Try to move over to Brave. I'm not sure where I'm going to switch to because eventually I'm going to have to switch off of Chrome because they're killing uBlock Origin and I absolutely refuse and I don't want your fucking ads and I don't want your malvertising. I forget how annoying the internet is without ad blocker until I go onto, because I have 2 ad blockers on my, I've got one on the host, I've got one on my DNS, and I forget how absolutely obnoxious the internet is whenever I'm away from home and I load up something and it doesn't have like an ad blocker on my phone and it's just like adpocalypse. Goosh. I'm like, oh my god, this is why the dinosaurs died. It's too many fucking hits. I have too much tied into Firefox, but I'm slowly getting off of it. Dude, I like the idea of Firefox, but it's the execution that it leaves a lot to be desired. You know, I actually want to try something real quick. Let's do something. Hey, Deb. Let's do sudo apt install Chromium. Oh, I gotta put a password. Go. All right, so now if I come over here and I run me some Chromium, I want to try something. Like Idiocracy mixed with Ready Player One. Yeah, no kidding. Can we make Idiocracy fiction again? That would be great. Oh god, I'm losing track of my tabs here. I just want to see something here. So if I come load up Chromium, I try this, and then shit, I gotta go find the password again. Mythic admin. I think if I just do get Mythic admin password, tell me. Yeah, so this says it should be password. Maybe I need to restart the machines. Let's do Mythic CLI restart. So we don't have anything going on here. Maybe if we restart it, it'll do it. I refuse to use Chrome. Yeah. Dude, I use Chrome for a bunch of simplicity on things. I don't use Chrome for anything that's overly important. So, like, anytime I'm doing, like, pen testing work, I definitely am not using it. Typically, though, if I need a web browser when I'm doing a pen test, it's going to be Chromium inside of Burp Suite. So now let me go see if I can log in with the Mythic, the just password that we had. I don't get it, man. I'll have to ask Mr. It's a Feature about that. Let's see. So if we look at our Mythic admin stuff, yeah, here's our user right here. Mythic admin password. Right there, bam. Let me double check the docs real fast because maybe there is something I'm missing on reloading it, but I would think that if you change the environment variable and you reload it, it should be good. That's it. We have password right there. So every user has their own password for authenticating Mythic. On initial setup, one account is created specified via the Mythic admin password. That's going to be in the .env file. Let's see. If the admin password isn't specified, then a random password is used. The password is only used on initial setup to create the first user. After that, the value is no longer used. Oh. Well. Shit. So that means I deleted the password. Cool. I think it's time to maybe delete the env file and try this shit again. That's unfortunate. Let's see. All right. Well, this is why we test things before we go put them into production. All right. Oh, you know what I need to do? Mythic CLI. Stop. Well, good news is I did this completely in like a craptacular order where I deleted the folder and it partially deleted, but I forgot you have to kill all the services too, so. Oh, that's too funny. Okay, so let's reclone Mythic 3.3 here. And then what we'll do is we'll CD over into that. Oh, I gotta move that button. So move Mythic to Mythic 3.3. We'll CD into it. And then what we'll do is we need to... We don't have a .env file in here, do we? We don't. Alright, that's fine. What we'll do is, rather than just using Mythic Admin for everything, we'll go make ourselves a super user account. That way we don't have to change the damn password to have a simple password to do this. So what we'll do is we'll do Mythic CLI start... Oh shit, I forgot. We gotta make that. We gotta make the binary real fast. So we'll... Because it doesn't ship with the Mythic CLI binary, so we're gonna build it real quick. It should be real fast. There we go. Now we can start it up. The good thing about Chrome is that it integrates really easily with a bunch of Google accounts that I use. So that's the nice thing, but at the same time, I don't want their damn Manifest v3 breaking everything. So Chrome is currently on countdown for me. Right, so let's get this stood back up. Learning shit the hard way, that's fine. Just remember, guys, you really want to know what hacking is at its heart. Depending on if you're in polite or unpolite company, it's fiddling around and then finding out. Then fiddling around again. That's hacking at its heart. Just meant to fiddle around and find out. Hey, Marky, what's up, dude? Alright, cool. So Mythic's back up and running. Let's go pop back over here. Oh, wait, we gotta get the actual password, though. Get Mythic admin password. We'll get this. We'll go make ourselves a proper user. We'll stop running as what is effectively root. Oh, damn it. I forgot the TLS cert changed. There we go. Mythic admin. Using that diagram at work from now on. Help yourself, bro. It's open source. The better one, and I'm sure this was a very popular short that was going around in the past, but I like it, is if you want to attain knowledge, it's a very linear experience right here. If you want to attain level let's say level 7 knowledge, right here. This is where you want to attain. Then it's a very simple linear correlation where you've got to have level 7 fiddling around to find out. So, the less you fiddle around, the less you find out. The more you fiddle around, the more you find out. Yep. Okay, so we gotta go reload our stuff, but first things first, let's go make us a new user in here. Where's the user management? Let's see. Dashboard services. Create. Hack one thong. God, reading the usernames is one of my favorite things about the stream. Welcome online, dude. Alright, so now let's see if we can figure out where the hell we need to create the new user. Let's see. There's Mythic. It's probably under the... No, it's not under the operational environment here. What's that? That's operations, MITRE, reporting, callbacks, creds. Creds is probably like captured creds that we've been... Or ones that we've captured or we want to leave them in here to be tokenized in the callbacks. So probably not that. Streaming service. I already looked in create. That was payloads and wrappers. Maybe dashboard. Oh, okay. That's kind of a weird place to hide it. You have to actually click on the username here to get in there to look at it. Let me blow this up a little bit so y'all can see it easier. So you click on the user icon and then you click signed in as, and you can adjust it. So now let's go make a new user. Username, Blaze, password, these at, dot yours. Password has to be 12 characters long. Damn you. It'd be nice if that showed us it on here. Password. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ultra secure. Hey, dude, what's up, dude? Welcome in. All right. Email. These nuts at your.mount. Keep it very professional. And we'll make him an admin. That's funny, though, because it's like, boom, not an admin. Refresh. There it goes. Oh, I must have accidentally double-clicked it. This mouse will sometimes do that. All right, cool. So now let's log out. And then we'll go log in. Password 1, 2, 3, 4. Hey, there we go. All right, so now we got to go reinstall our stuff. But all right, so there's the Apollo install. So we'll do Apollo, HTTP, and SMB. We'll get those set up real fast. So thankfully, they don't take very long. See, like there, Apollo, real fast. So do HTTP next. And what I'm hitting, by the way, if you haven't seen this, I'm just hitting Control R in Bash, and it will let you do a reverse history search. So I hit Control R. I know the command I'm typing contained the word install. So I'm just basically doing a keyword search here. So do install, and then I hit Control R again to go back some more. So go back twice there. Now I've got the, oh, you can't really see it. There you go. See, now we've got the SMB command here. Super handy for whenever you are trying to remember, like, crap, what was that commando in? And you don't want to go grep through the history. You just want to go rerun it real fast. Or if you've got the command and you don't know exactly where it is in the back scroll, It's just another little handy feature. All right, so now if we come over to our C2 profiles, all right, cool. Let's go ahead and reconfigure these again. So we're gonna call this, call this, what we call it? I think we just call it HT, IP connect back. We'll call it that. And then our server is on 10.4.10.101. And the rest of the settings we'll just leave as default. I guess it didn't like our name there. Let's do Debian. Maybe it doesn't like the spaces. Debian IP. Let's try that. 10.4.10.101. Okay. That's weird. Let me go try something here real quick. What's that error we're getting? Eva. Weird. Wonder what's going on here. Let's see. Check our status real quick here. Mythic CLI status. Let's see. So everything's up and running. Just for grins and giggles, let's try a restart on it real fast. Maybe there's junk left over from last time. I don't quite understand enough about what Mythic is doing in the back end for maintaining these containers and like where the data is stored for them. Like, is it storing some of them in like volumes? Or is it storing some of them in disks or file folders on the disk? All right, cool. So let's go try this again here. Reload. Let's go see if we can modify our. Let's see if we can modify this again. So do. I'll try and make it just one word here. Oh, you know what else I need to do? This defaults to HTTPS, and that's what kicked us in the butt last time. 10.4.10. 101. Hold on. Managed to capture a copy of this. Open an MS page. All right, so here's the error we're actually seeing. Failed to create instance, failed to save instance, PQ insert or update on table C2 profile parameters instance violates foreign key constraints. That's weird because we didn't get that last time. Right? When we made it last time, we didn't get that. What the hell? I wonder, I suspect what's happening here is we've got data hanging out in the back end, right? So let's think about this logic. Let me clear my beautiful little diagrams here. So what's happening is, right, we got Mythic set up. It's running a bunch of containers, right? So the way the containers function, though, is the containers have their own little operational environment and their own storage, which can be suboptimal because this is all volatile. Well, volatile meaning that if the container goes away, all the data in them is going away. So typically what happens, let's say this is a database right here, right? This is going to be mapped to some directory, like let's say, just for, I'm making something up here. Let's say this is user var data db, right? Or user shared data db, whatever. And so this is actually the folder where that data will live. Now you can also do another option here where you could have it go into like a Docker volume, which honestly is not something I'm super familiar with. I've been meaning to go dig into it. I just haven't had the need to, so I haven't. So the question is, which one of these two is it going to? I suspect what happens is when we deployed Mythic the first time, these containers set up their persistent storage on the computer. And then when we loaded it back up, there was stuff in there that didn't make sense to the new deployment. So I don't know how to rectify that. Let me think about this. So restarting it didn't work. Let's look at the config here. Let's see, will this tell us anything? No. This is like just configuring like the malleable C2 profile like we did in Cobalt Strike. Because we see like, hey, this is what server we're going to imitate. Here's the connection types. The content type is JavaScript. Stuff like that. Let's go look at something right now. So this is actually one of the most badass features about... I'm going to close this. In fact, I'm going to remove it from there. One of the most badass features is documentation was super big here in Mythic. So I hit this little book icon, bam. Brings me up the documentation that ships with it when we go and install it into Mythic. Boom, we get a whole new documentation set in here. Those are config options. Now, what about for profiles? All right, so profile option, crypto type. Indicate if you want to use no crypto, or if you want to use Mythic's AES-256 HMAC. Using no crypto is really helpful for agent development. It's easier to see the messages, because we could just go look at the data being sent back and forth in Wireshark, right? So super handy there. But I'm not seeing anything about why the database doesn't like the foreign key. All the code for the server is Python 3 using Sanic. Isn't that Sonic's like evil brother? Sanic? Wrappers, agents. Okay, so here's creating C2 profiles for Apollo. Yeah, this sounds like it's a weird database issue. I mean, it is obviously a weird database issue. Understanding how to rectify it, though, that's going to be a little bit different. Let's see. So the last thing we did is we tried restarting it. I think what we might need to do is... let's look at the options we've got in Mythic. There may be some kind of... well, there's an uninstall option. You would think that would remove it. Actually, hold on. There's a Mythic CLI volume command. Let's go look at the volumes. H. Yeah, let's look at that. LS. Oh, here we go. Cool. So it's using two volumes. It's using an HTTP volume and an SMB volume. So that's in varlib docker volumes HTTP volume. Flash data. Oh, okay. Gotcha. That's where it's living. This is the name of the volume, HTTP volume. This is what I was talking about. So this is like a, basically a logical file system that rather than passing a folder from the computer, you can pass a volume into it, and it creates a nice little isolated chunk of storage for the container. Let's see. So I don't know if there's anything. I don't think there's anything I want to copy to or from there. I don't think that's going to help. Let's see. The health check, I'm pretty sure it showed us that it was good. Database, it says interact with database. Let's go look at that. Database. What do we have? Reset the database. Let's try that just for FA's sake. This will delete all the data in your database forever. Proceed, number 1. By the way, anybody else who's traveling out to Vegas tomorrow, have safe travels. Enjoy the trip. Go. I say one of the best things you can do is, get to know folks, get connected with them, because honestly, even as introverted as a lot of us are, who work in tech, and it seems to be even dialed up more to 11 when you're working in offensive security, just by the nature of the type of work. Get to know folks, get connected with them, so that way you can start building a network. Because honestly, your best leads for work that you're going to enjoy is going to come from those folks. I'd say probably, if I had to put a number on it, I'd say 80% of roles in offensive security, particularly, it's probably a smaller percentage, but still a majority for Blue Team, come from referrals internally. Like, hey guys, we need to hire, a new EDR specialist. Boom, I know the guy. He just loves EDR. All right, hey, we need to hire a new GRC specialist. Boom, I know someone. Hey, we need to hire a new pen tester. I got 3 guys for you. Whatever. So definitely make those connections while you're out at DEF CON. Respectfully, some people, don't want. Some people, want to stay in like ultra cloak and dagger mode. Respect that too. All right, let this start up. Okay, let's go pop back in there now. Is that? Oh, you know what sucks is I think that will kill our login. I just realized that. Password 1 2 3 4. Yeah. Let's go grab the admin password again. It's gonna be mythic _admin, and then drop that in there. Boom. That's how my friend got hired into Spectre Ops, was being there and talking with the guys. Yeah, exactly. Spectre Ops is such a badass outfit too. I mean, that's also a portion of the reason why. Let me hide this real quick. Why I wanted to mess with Mythic, because I've talked to some of the folks over there. They said that the 2 primary C2 channels that they use when they're doing their internal assessments are Cobalt Strike and Mythic. So I was like, all right, badass. So we learned quite a bit about Cobalt Strike in the RTO course. I wish I could get a little bit more access to it, but it is what it is. And eventually we did have to move on from there. We can't just spend our entire lives in the sandbox, But getting this exposure to Mythic now and realizing, hey, here's how we do this other stuff, and we've got patterns built up of, hey, this is how we execute certain tasks and the tasks we're going to look at, and the T. So you have TTPs, right? Hang on. Before I start going off into just hand waving mode. So you got to think, whenever you're doing these kind of like red team assessments, one of the things is also looking at the TTPs, right? That's the tactics, the techniques, and the procedures, right? Procedures here. So the tactics, they're pretty much going to be almost identical between the different C2s, and the techniques are actually probably going to be very similar too. It's the procedures that are going to change between the two. So you already have a firm understanding here of, like, say, oh yeah, here's how we dumped hashes from the SAM. Here's how we did our Kerberos ticket management. Here's how we did our golden tickets. We did it with Rubius. The difference is, hey, we're going to execute it slightly differently because we executed it from a thick client with Cobalt Strike. Now we're executing it from a web framework front end for Mythic. Yeah, don't be the person with your phone out taking pictures. Yes, that is pretty frowned upon, taking wide angle pictures at DEF CON. So if you're gonna take pictures, find a wall, find a nice backdrop, and then go take that picture where you're leaving most of the crowd out. That's considered good con manners. Let's see. All right, so let's go try something real quick here. Actually, let me go, before I go even make a new user, I want to try something real fast. Let's do our install command. For HTTP, I want to let this run. Yes. I need a better, newer phone. So I'm currently using a Pixel, and I kind of like it. I toy around with the idea of switching to iPhone, I just don't know if I'm ever going to make that jump. I have an old iPhone, an iPhone 10, that I kind of tinker with, and there's some really annoying stuff about it just because I'm so ingrained into the Android side. However, I do know from a security perspective, the iPhone is more secure than the Androids. So it's a give and take. Cell's almost 7 years old and surprised it still works. I didn't start replacing my old Pixel, which was a Pixel 3, until it was just running incredibly dog shit slow. It was taking so long just to like open Google Maps. I'm like, okay, you got to go. Oh, you know what? I'm an idiot. It was already in here. All right, so let's do, we'll call it host IP. Change this from an S to, what do we want to call this? Our IP address, 10.4.10.101. Great. Hey, there we go. So all we had to do was just go nuke that database wherever it lived. I thought about getting a Pixel phone to... That's the thing, my phone still works like it did the day I got it. Never slowed down at all. My biggest issue is I install way too many applications because like I will use them once and they are handy. And I'm like, well, what if I need that in the future? So I'm a real bad app hoarder. I'm getting ready to actually go through and say, what apps have I not used in the last 60 days and just wipe them out? Because like if I haven't used them in the last 2 months, chances are I'm not going to need them. Sometimes they're little one-off hacking apps too, like crap, what's it called? It's not Blue Snarf. It's Blue something. But it's a Bluetooth tracking app, and actually this ring I have on, if I can show this to y'all. See inside the ring there? See those little nubs? That's actually a PCB. This is a sleep tracker. And this dude uses Bluetooth low energy. My wife lost hers. And so what I did was I went very far to the other side of the house where I knew her ring probably wasn't. I pulled up that little Bluetooth tracking app, and then I found out what my ring's address was. I knew that the MAC address had to be identical. So then I excluded that one from the scan, and then I found her one right there. And I just very slowly bird dogged it until I finally found it on the changing table because she had taken her ring off to change my son's diaper. Hey, Hacken, what's up, dude? Pixel and Graphene OS. I have actually thought about that too. I thought about maybe just trying to switch over to Graphene. I actually had Graphene installed on an old tablet. I thought that would be handy. That was a while ago, though. Wait, no, I don't think it was Graphene. I think it was a different one. Let's call this one LateBits 01, and we're going to just change the name pipe to that. So the reason I'm changing the name pipe to like something easy is because I just want to be able to, as we're going through the learning process, go triage, hey, did our payload even run, and is it listening on the name pipe or what? Alright, cool. So we got that going. What can we do? Actually, you know, we never dug into what can we do on the payloads here. I guess we can't really modify that. Oh, cool. So if we wanted to get a list of all the commands in here. Oh, there's the doc. So let's say, for example, I think there's an execute assembly command. Let's go look at the docs for that, because this is the one I've been curious about. How are we going to reference the binaries to run it? Because in Cobalt Strike, it was real easy. You put in the local path of the binary. So highlighted agent features, .NET 4.0 compatible, Windows token manipulation and tracking, built-in lateral movement via PS exec. Nice. Wait, oh, this is the Apollo stuff. Hang on. This is like just the general intro. Execute assembly. Here we go. Artifacts generated. Process create, process injection, and process kill. Now this is really badass too. Telling you like, hey, here's the artifacts that get generated when you do this. Because eventually what we'll do is we're going to augment the Goad lab, and we're going to put something like Lima Charlie, or we're going to put in our own elastic security system in there. And we'll start saying, okay, cool, so what kind of indicators of compromise are we leaving on the systems when we do these things? And can we maybe bypass those and not leave them on there? Oh, okay, so I'm guessing from this drop-down, you're probably going to stage those binaries on the C2 server, and then you select it from this dropdown right here. Nice. Nice. So hold on. So the summary is that executes a .NET Framework assembly with the specified arguments. The assembly must first be cached in the agent using the register assembly command. Oh. So this will be interesting because I want to know, is it getting cached at the agent, like on the system? Because that's interesting, and that leaves a new bit of memory footprint in there. Because how we had configured Cobalt Strike is it would take that binary, zip it up to the agent would execute it, and then flush it from memory. So that way, in-memory scanners couldn't just, like, carte blanche find it. I'm now the second person I've heard use the term bird dog. It's a very new phrase to me. I guess it's a Texas thing, but I never heard the expression until I moved out here. Yeah, the bird dog. So when you're bird hunting, and the birds are pretty far away, you hit them with, bird shot and a shotgun, so it doesn't just obliterate them. It's very tiny pellets, but it's enough to basically kill the bird. And what you do is you send your bird dog out to go find him, right? So bird dogging is the process of tracking something down. So I don't guess there's anything we can really view files for Apollo. Okay. That's interesting. So there's nothing we can really do with the payloads in here, at least not for Apollo. But we already set up some profiles for HTTP and SMB. So let's go make our payloads again real quick. So generate ourselves a new payload for Windows. Yeah, WinExe. We'll leave the default commands in for now. And then we'll do our HTTP one first. And actually, I kind of want to change. I'll leave it as it is for now. We'll just leave that as default. We'll call this Apollo HTTP payload. And start over. We'll do the same thing, but we're just going to swap it over to SMB. To be Apollo SMB. Oh, great payload. Awesome. Yeah, it's funny whenever you see folks talking about, hey, I don't get why Americans aren't more worldly well-traveled, right? It's like, well, dude, the U.S. is huge, right? If you're going from England to France, it's 45 minutes to an hour. I can drive for 12 hours and not leave Texas. In one direction, not like driving in circles and crap. I can literally drive in one direction. There we go. Cool. I want to try something, actually. I'm going to go over to SMB, and I'm going to have it trigger a new build. So I wanted to see. So one thing it didn't do is it didn't quite dynamically update. So that might just be some, hey, maybe the front end just needs a little bit of TLC for the React nature of it. Which honestly, whenever I've got a new project and I want to try and contribute to it, because sadly, most of my coding experience is with JavaScript, what I'll do is actually I'll go look at like enhancements I want to make to the front end. And then invariably what that does is that leads me to, hey, this is the stuff that's going on in the back end. So I've got to understand what's going on there and how the data is kind of coming back and forth. So I'll use that as my initial access point to get used to the libraries. So I'll say, okay, cool, let me go make a change to the front end. Okay, cool, where's that call coming from? How does it happen? And start tracing it back, and that's how I'll kind of get familiar with it. Okay, so we're not noticing a good difference in behavior between this part, reactifying, versus what it did in Firefox. But it does feel like it's running smoother. Firefox it felt very jittery when we were running it. So, all right, so we got those two up and running. Let's clear out our downloads folder. We're just gonna wipe everything out of here. Keep doing that. There's tabs up here, right? I keep wanting to click those tabs instead of like go click back into the web browser. Download. Then let's see. So that should be good. We should be ready to go catch callbacks now. So what we need to do is we need to go copy those binaries over to... No, what did we do this at? I think we maybe did it in 0. Oh, in 3. That's our HTTP server. So we're going to copy everything from downloads to our current folder. Look at that. Cool. So we actually need to delete Apollo because Apollo.exe is from the old server. It would never connect back to us. So what we want to do now is let's pop over to... Actually, we didn't have to do this through there. We can do this through PSXA. And in fact, I think we can even do this on .22. Let me double check something in Ludus real quick. 22 should be server 02, yeah. Because one thing we found out that is Rob Stark's a domain administrator, so he should have access to .22. Except it's not working. People tend to not understand how big this country is. I grew up in a city where hundreds of languages were being spoken, but foreigners would later figure out that not all of America is not the same. Yeah, exactly. It's hugely different. Even funnier was when they figured out that nothing in America is free. I figured out after I explained taxes and why schools are not free. Yeah. Good old taxes. All right, let's see. So weird that the in packet is not working. What if we just did this with CMD? That's weird that... Hold on, I want to go look at something real quick, because Rob is a domain administrator. Right? If we come over to DCO2, right? Well, I take that back. Rob is an admin on the domain controller. Let's go pull up server 2 real fast. Zoom this in. I can't zoom it in anymore. But let's do... Yeah, domain... Okay, so domain admins is here. So if we do... I don't know if he has get AD groups. He doesn't. Okay. But we should have ADUC up over here. Let's go check that real quick. We'll just double check and see who our domain admins are real fast. Built in. Is it under built in? I haven't used ADUC in so long. Get AD. We don't have the AD tools on here. Damn it. Others are running VMs like as in Oracle. Like are these Oracle VMs? No, it's running through a system called Proxmox, which is actually managed by another system called Ludus. And Ludus is really cool. I like it for putting this out. It just looks like that because I can get the... There we go. What the hell is going on here? Why is the... I think I need to reboot this computer. It's acting weird. And background info. Okay. Shut down. TAC R, TAC T0. There we go. Just force a restart that way. Something is jacked up in the UI there. I don't know what it is. We're just going to restart it. So we'll let this machine come back up, and then what we'll do is we'll just go double check who our domain admins are. Oh, my wrist. What sucks is I think my carpal tunnel is flaring up again too. And so trying to do those wrist curls didn't do it any favors. Because what I'd rather do is I'd rather go, because we have creds for Rob and Arya. Arya is, I don't think, an admin on server 02. Right, no. Domain admins and Joro Mormont. Those are our two. Don't know where to get Joro's access. We also couldn't WMI into this computer with Arya. We didn't try it with Rob. We could go try it with Rob Stark. So I've got this. This was actually something that I actually had an elbow problem with, but it kind of helps. So the idea here is you hold the two sides for tension, and then that's supposed to actually help release some of the stuff that's going on with your forearms. But it's more for things that are happening in your elbow, and not for which so much as happening like in your wrist. So. Yeah, when I say MF, that's my friend. Here we go. Let's try this again, because this should have the this should have all the AD management tools in it. Let's do something. Get AD. There we go. I think it's get AD crew member. Yeah, that's it. Rob.start. Let me just try that. Oh, really? You can't find Rob Stark? Jeez. What kind of Game of Thrones fan are you? Now I know that's BS because... Hold on. Let me go pull up ADAC real quick. People who know that is what I mean when I say MF. Yeah. Let's see. Users. Let's go look at Arya, because we have her account. I'm just curious what she's a member of. She's a member of the Stark group. Okay. What up? No, Robson. He is. Oh, he's a member of the administrators group, but not the domain administrators. That's why Rob has access. Okay, so the administrators group is different from the domain administrators group. Technically, the domain administrators group gets its permissions from the administrator group. They're stacked up here. So if you're in the administrators group, you can add yourself to domain admins. But if you're in the administrators group, you can't do all the activities that a domain admin can. It's kind of weird. And the only reason I know this is because I had a previous job where I could not get them to give me elevated permissions to go fix stuff. So I had a buddy, and he couldn't put me into the domain admins group because there was a script that nobody could find that had a predefined list of who was allowed to be in the domain administrators group. And if it found an account there, it didn't send an alert. It just kicked you out of there. Just kicked you out of the domain administrators. That's all it did. So he put me in the administrators group, and I could go priv-esc myself by adding myself to domain admins, do my task I needed, and then I just waited for the script to kick me out. It was such a janky setup. Which is the better to download off the Proxmox page? So if you want to, my recommendation is if you want to do the kind of like homelab that we're doing here, don't install Proxmox, go get Ludus. Because Ludus is super easy to install. You do a base Debian 12 install, you download the Ludus server binary, and you run it. and it will go through and install Proxmox for you and apply all the configurations it needs for Ludus to work. When I was initially trying to get this set up on this server, I had really big trouble with the bootloader process. So I went through it. I probably installed this at least 20 times to troubleshoot and figure it out. I even tried installing Proxmox because Proxmox worked, and then installing Ludus over it. What I quickly realized, though, is that a lot of the Ludus functionality, probably 70% of it, was broken because Ludus didn't configure Proxmox. So while that's technically feasible to take Ludus and install it on top of an already valid Proxmox install, it is fraught with dragons. Don't do that way. Do Debian 12 Ludus install, it will take care of Proxmox for you. So he's an administrator, but not a domain administrator. Let's see, there's also Sansa in here. There's our domain admins. That's what I was looking for. Properties. Netherlands. Really? Eddards, the domain admin? That's weird. How about this? Can I install through WSL? Can you install Proxmox into WSL? And you gotta keep in mind, WSL is not like a real Linux machine. It's a weird hybrid of a container type setup. That's really what it's more akin to. WSL is cool and it can be handy, but it has its own bag of tricks with it. Because what's happening is when you set up WSL, yeah, for honest, if you're pretty much, yeah, you want to have dedicated hardware. So for anybody who doesn't know, WSL, and I had to figure this out because when I set up WSL, it absolutely BTFO'd my my VMware workstation setup. So this is your computer right here. And let's say you've got Windows installed on it, right? Well, you would think, okay, well, Windows is managing everything and it's running everything. That's true, except when you install WSL, Windows actually becomes a virtual machine. And then now your base layer is Hyper-V. So now you've got Hyper-V running on the system, and then what happens is it actually comes over and runs a Linux kernel inside of Hyper-V, and this is what WSL hooks over into. That's how you get those kind of weird containers. And it has a lot of helper functions to it. This is one of the reasons why from WSL you can actually run like notepad.exe. You can actually browse the folder structure of the WSL container. You just type explore.exe space dot, and boom, it's gonna open Explorer, and you're gonna have a file view into that container. I figured this out by reading and FAing a ton with Windows because I could not figure out why my VMware workstation just went whenever I enabled WSL. And the reason is because VMware Workstation is expecting to have, through the Windows kernel, lower level access to the machine hardware. And instead, it's having to go through hypervisor. And there's also something else in Windows called CredGuard that was jacking it up too. I have VMware Workstation 2, you switch to hypervisor. No, dude, if you've got VMware Workstation running, I would caution you, don't enable WSL. That's the thing. Because I don't know if it's been fixed. This was years ago. I actually, and this was on my work laptop, which was a weird case anyway, because they way over configured Intune on it. But I went through it. I actually switched over to using a Mac for work. I feel like I'm a lot more productive on the Mac. So it's been nice doing that. But this was the main thing I would say is like, hey, if you're going to run Workstation, you pick Workstation or WSL. You don't pick both because it's going to cause you issues.
Shut up, baby. I know it.
Hey, it's a POSIX compliant system, Oni. Right. So back to what we're doing. Let's go. So that explains why Rob has access to the domain controller and not to another system in here. So that's fine. We'll just go pull up the domain. Actually, crap. I did that wrong. We were supposed to pull up PowerShell. When was the last time you saw a Mac server? Yeah, no kidding. Actually, I understand there have been more Macs coming out into workplace environments, and so it's not very frequent. It seems to be like clustered around particular firms that they're getting a lot more requests for pen testing against Macs, and so that's actually really interesting. And in fact, if you even look at it in the example documentation for Mythic, right? He does where is it? Quick usage. He even uses the Mac agent in here. Right? He's using what's it called? I think AppFell. Yeah, so he creates it and then he's got a payload running on a Mac, like just a local map setup or Mac callback. See? Yeah. So that's actually really cool about Mythic too, because Mythic is cross-platform. It'll work on Mac, it'll work on Linux, it'll work on Windows. Cobalt Strike was just Windows all the way. My manager said I have to learn Mac if I want to do any kind of pen testing. Yeah, no. There's still 99.9% of the world still runs Windows in their business environments for their end users, right? That's a hard no. Let's see. All right, so let's run the PowerShell. There we go. What we'll do is we'll cd to users rob.start. Actually, I want to see something real quick. Who am I? It should be system. Yeah. Source system. So we don't have to go put this in Rob's folder, but I'm going to put it in there just for safekeeping now. So let's do cd to users rob start ls. Okay, and we'll do invoke web request to http 10.4.10.99, which is our Kali box because that's where we're hosting the payloads, and we're going to get Apollo http.exe. Oh, dang it. I forgot. We have to do, we have to tell it the out file. Great selection. There we go. Out file. Apollo http.exe. I really want to go, just for funsies, go make my own agent for, Mythic. And I think I'm going to call it Bitburner. I don't know if there's curl.exe on this system, actually. Oh, I stand corrected. There is. That's fine. I did invoke web request. We're all good. All right, so now I'm going to run Apollo http.exe. And that should give us a system level callback. But you know, actually, I don't want to do it this way. I'm going to run it in the UI. And the reason for that is because I would like to get basically a lower integrity shell. Let's go to C, users, Rob Stark. And I'm just going to double click it to run it. We'll let this guy come up. And then let's go check and see. Hey, we got our callback. Nice. Awesome. All right. So we're back to where we left off last night, but we're doing it on the newer system, so that's awesome. I think in all penetration tests that I've done in the past, I've only seen one environment with Mac. Yeah, and I don't see like any. I haven't seen any Mac environments. I've seen Mac endpoints, right? Like an iMac or a MacBook Pro or a tablet. I've seen those, but not like a fully administered Mac environment. It's not the Mac strong suit. Although, granted, the Macs are becoming a bit more prevalent now because since everything's freaking cloud-based, I mean, dude, I do everything that my coworkers do from their Windows laptops on my Mac, and I do it in the very similar way. And for the most part, everything seems to run just fine, if not better, except for Teams, because Teams sucks. But can I interact with you? Yay! So what commands do I have here? Can I run command? Shell? Will I? Is that not to do it? Oh, north/local user. Ah, cute. Yeah, macOS is based off of BSD, which is a little bit different. There is a difference between Linux and Unix, and BSD is actually on the Unix side of the house, and that's what Mac is based off. It's based off of BSD. But enough, our entire pen testing team uses Macs, like all 30 of us. Dude, so the only thing that I don't like, and actually that's why I got crap, where is it? Somewhere around here. I got a small Intel NUC. And actually it was a remnant from a pen test that I did. I bought it, I just didn't charge it to the company so I could keep it. But I got that for doing some dev work because the only bad thing about the M2 Macs is I can't run x86 64. All right. I'll tell you what, I'll be right back, guys. I need to run to the bathroom. All right, I'm back. Let's see. Are we still Mythic admin? You know, I just realized, dang it, we didn't go make a new user. Password 124. Password 1234. That was not correct. Password 1234. Email. There's no input. There's no input checking for the email. I just took that. Let's make you an admin. Boop. All right, cool. Next question: can a Raspberry Pi run Proxmox? Or the other one? It can run Proxmox. I wouldn't recommend it though, because not only then, if you're running it on a Raspberry Pi, you're gonna have issues of. Actually, I take it back. I don't even know if there is an ARM build for Proxmox. So as of February 1, 2023, there was no official ARM release. Yeah. No, I don't think there is. One of the things you could do, Purge, is if you wanted to like have a lab you could test something, check out Buildout. Not Buildout. It's not what I wanted. Buildout. It's different. It's less than N. Check this one out here, because this can actually run Docker containers. The whole thing is set up as Docker containers that are vulnerable by default. So, for example, like here's a vulnerable Django containers, right, to different CVEs. So let's look at maybe a CVE from 2020. Here's the Docker file. Here's how to go get it set up, right? And then you can go through and you can test different exploits against these in here. I actually thought about trying to find a way to... And you can do that on a Raspberry Pi really easily. Oh, my wrist. So one of the things you could also do is just make yourself a little script, and you could have it go like deploy a random container out of there. Something I thought about doing for like a challenge lab is that would be the initial vector into the system, and you have to Docker escape. That was what I actually did in my Black Hat lab. The last year when I updated it is I added a vulnerable service to the external of the lab. And when they broke into it, then they had to do a Docker escape. So then I walked them through, hey, here's how Docker works, and here's some of the common escape methods. We busted out of it, had a good time. Yeah, that was really hard 4 days, though, because it was a 2-day class, and it was a very packed 2-day class. And so I think I'm pretty sure the reason they didn't accept it this year is because I resubmitted it as a 4-day class, because I really wanted to give the students a lot more hands-on time. That was the only way to do it. Even when I gave them, like, I have them like, hey, you can have a month of like lab time. We'll just leave it up and eat the AWS cost. And the students rarely ever used it, because I had usage logs on it. So I just felt like they're getting the information. And I get that not a lot of those people are offensive operators. They were blue teamers learning about red teaming. It was kind of a purple team course. But still, I wanted to be able to get them more hands-on time. But I suspect those 4-day slots are a lot more competitive. Like they don't have as many slots for them. Let's go log out and go log back in as our other user. So let's see what happens. So Mythic Admin is actually the one who created this one. And so let's go do this. Let's log out. We'll go log in as Blaze. And he's an admin, so he should be able to see everything. I did a workshop that was a talk plus lab environment. I ran it twice. 15 people would come. 2 to 3 would actually try the lab. Yeah, I get that, dude. And so what I started doing initially, like, because for the first couple years, I tried to give people time to do the labs, but honestly, they'd only have like a 20-minute chunk of time. It's like, well, shit, that's barely enough time to like really digest what's in the worksheet, right? Especially if this is not material that you're intimately familiar with. So then what I started doing is moving on to like doing just guided, like, hey guys, we're going to do this all together. Here's what we're going to run across. Da-da-da-da. Doing it that way. And that did help, but that's still different than having to have but basically that removes all the friction of the learning process, right? And I always talk about, you have to have some friction in the learning process, get some neurons rubbing together, creating heat so that it sticks. You don't want too much, but you want some in there. The more you struggle with something, the more you're going to remember it. So it was kind of removing all that friction out, though. So it was a really hard balancing act, and it just came down to, even if I could have done it as a 3-day course, it would have been fine. But it just didn't happen. So that's all right. Silver lining, I don't have to go spend 11 days in Vegas. Let's go back to callbacks here. Oh, no operation set. He needs to be... Oh, so Blaze is not added to the operation. Y'all see that? Ah, okay. So, let's go log back in as our Mythic admin. Oh, Bright mode. So that's something else we need to do. When we add an operator, we're going to need to actually add them to an operation. Where's Ludus? Oh wait, I'm in Ludus. Just, yeah. Got that. Drop that in here. Oh, I had an extra S in Mythic. Let's see, operators, edit. We need to enable Blaze to be on there. And he's going to be a lead. Interesting. All right, update. I just came from my classes for machine learning with Python. Oh, badass! Talking about supervised and unsupervised, so I came in here for a brain break. Dude, awesome, man. I actually really thought about digging into a lot of that material, and I actually have a ton of stuff in Udemy, however you want to say it, that I never went through because I have a degree in math. So I thought about going down that path of pivoting out of IT and into like machine learning. And then I got the offer to do the penetration testing. I was like, and I just completely shelved that. The channel I'm watching is the Black Pack Knock. Yeah, which is essentially just a DJ channel at this time of night. Alright, so now if we log out and log back in as Bliss, I'm surprised it hasn't offered to save the password. Go to operations. Operation Chimera. Nice. So now if I go to callbacks, there, now I see it. Cool. What can I do on this? Callback, task. What do you do? Let's see. Modify groupings. This is got lots of little switches in here. I want to tinker. Let's see, what if I set the sleep to like 3 seconds? Oh, that's right, we didn't load the sleep command. So can we load one or more new commands into the agent? That it, okay. Sleep? Nice. Task it. Compiling sleep. I wish it was that easy to go install some sleep. That's so cool. It tells you what stage it's in right now. Like this one was an error because we didn't supply anything to it. But that says that, hey, the agent's processing it. It's waiting for the next callback. Then it'll say processed. Nice. That's badass. And it even tells you which user did this, right? So it tells you which callback number, who the user was, what it did. Ooh, glad I caught that on the mute. Damn. It's a hell of a sneeze. I don't know what it is, but after you have kids, your sneezes just go to 11. It's the dad sneeze. I thought it was a meme. No, it's a legit phenomenon. All right, so it looks like sleep's loaded now. So let's say I want to change sleep to 3 seconds here. So I'm just watching the last check-in counter right here to see what it's doing. Because, I mean, there's going to be times where, like, hey, it's going to be advantageous to, like, turn down the sleep counter, run some stuff, and then kick it back up, right? That sleep counter looks a little sus. Like, it's stuck, like, the 2 just got abandoned there. Like, they forgot the 2. It's like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. What if I do sleep 0? I'm curious. Alright, so that's a visual bug there. Hang on, let me do something real quick. Let me open up Notepad real fast. I'm gonna make some notes to send over to Mr. It's a Feature. All right, Oni, dude, have a safe trip, Dan. Yeah, send me the fun stuff you come across, dude. Like, okay, so, I'm gonna make a note here. So Apollo, changing sleep. Causes last check-in timer to spaz out. But hold on, what's our timestamp here? Because I can tell them where it is on the video. About 2 hours, 8 minutes. There we go. That way I can just link them to the video. Hey, look at this behavior here. But you can tell that, like, hey, it's happening, right? It's sleeping and, like, bam, 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 bam. It's just hitting it back and forth. All right, so let's see what else we want to do. How do we do an execute assembly? I'm curious about that. Especially since we don't have any assembly set up and built here. That's what the commando VM was supposed to be for. Here, the commando VM was supposed to be in place of our like our Windows attack box that we had in the RTO lab. However, the commando VM is a little bit messed up and that it doesn't have like a lot of stuff to do. So I like the idea of commando, but again, I always have freaking trouble with commando. It's not one thing, it's another. And I'm not going to be sitting here trying to copy and paste through this interface because it doesn't work. This is a console interface. It's not like an actual RDP session. Thanks again, MF. I know what you mean. Let's see. So what else can we do? I want to do the execute assembly, but I need some... Oh, I tell you what, let's go see if we can get a copy of Seatbelt. Like, does Seatbelt have precompiled binaries? I guess I should be more specific. Yeah, ghost pack. Here we go. Unfortunately, it doesn't compile instructions. Let's see. Let's see. Seatbelts built against .NET 3.5 and 4 with C# 8 features and is compatible with Visual Studio Community Edition. Okay. So that is not one we're going to be able to, like, I don't know how to compile C# on Linux. You can with .NET Core, I believe. I'm not familiar with it.
Caution. A virus has been detected.
Tennis!
Het_tennis virus
tennis
detected
virus.
in the network.
Thankfully, he's very familiar with the Cookie Monster virus, so it's really just more of a formality at this point. Call me SK. Hey, dude, what's up, man? Haven't seen you in a minute, dude. Great. Another night, another burn, then pillage. That's correct. You got to get that order of operations down correctly. Hey, Hope, thanks for coming online. And Quartz, thanks for coming online. What were y'all doing, Tannis? And I hope that I just realized, I hope that dial-up sound's not too loud. I've been meaning to go through and rework all the alerts for the stream. I just haven't gotten around to it. Compute and data security top. Nice. Hey, Tannis, did you by chance did you see that there's a new CPU vulnerability for RISC-V, and it's like a ghostwrite, I think they call it? You just reminded me of it. And you know it's going to be good, right? Because it has a themed page, right? Yeah, all the themed exploits are like really awesome, right? All right, so this is hard to read, but here we go. So the ghostwrite vulnerability affects the T-head RISC-V CPU. Okay, so it's a very specific CPU, which is to be understandable. I was under the impression it was like an issue in like the actual RISC-V architecture. Allows unprivileged attackers, even those with limited access, to read and write any part of the computer's memory and to control peripheral devices like network cards. So I mean, kind of a cool thing. Shell Shock actually was a pretty awesome exploit. I will give you that. There's always an exception to every rule. The rule is typically if it's a named exploit, like named and themed, it probably isn't all that awesome. But there's always an exception to the rules, right? And Shell Shock being one of those exceptions. Ghost right? I thought it was Shell Shock or CrowdStrike. Yeah, right. So I really like this kind of research just because it's so cool to like find those hardware level exploits, especially since hardware's not something I'm well versed in. So even as much security stuff as I've done, there's portions of the security world that are still like wizardry to me. This being something like this being one of them. Or like this, even the Spectre and Meltdown stuff, right? I just realized there's no last week in security to go over this week because they're at DEF CON. Slooberdoo. Slooberdoo. I love reading the usernames, dude. They freaking crack me up. Thanks for coming online, dude. What are we working on today? So we're going through and we have the beta version of the Mythic Command and Control online right now. So this is Mythic 3.2 here. Let me go back to the dashboard. I'm sorry, this is Mythic 3.3. And so Mythic 3.3 had a big rewrite of a bunch of the backend stuff, so it's currently in beta version. I had mistakenly thought 3.2 was that beta version. So that's what we were doing last night, and then I realized I was wrong. So went through and just blew the whole infrastructure away, rebuilt it, and we're using the Game of Active Directory lab, which looks something like this. Let me see if I can open that in a new tab and blow it up. Ah, there we go. So this is a 5-machine lab. It's basically damn vulnerable Active Directory if you think about it in here. Yeah, super cool lab. And so what we've got is we've got an initial foothold over into North 7 Kingdoms, actually on the domain controller. Because in a weird way, Rob's a member of the domain. He's not a domain admin, but he's a member of the domain's administrators group. So not domain admin, he's a member of the administrators group. So he has access to the domain controller, but not like access to Castle Black, because Castle Black only allows access from domain admins. So kind of funny like that. But anyway, so we've got a beacon or an agent running over on DC2, and we're just kind of tinkering around with it right now. We're trying to see what did we do in Cobalt Strike, and how do we translate that over to Mythic, like how we're doing this. So one thing I just realized is that our Windows test machine, which was supposed to have been a Commando VM, doesn't work. And it doesn't work because it restricts RDP access, so there's not an easy way to get access over to it. So we're trying to find a way we can find some .NET assemblies that we could go test the execute assembly function on, because that's one that gets used very frequently. So maybe we won't mess with that one just yet. Actually, no, I need that. Damn. Well, actually, I don't know. There are built-in functions for doing ticket manipulation in the agent itself, and we loaded those into our agent. So that was one of the other cool things that we were tinkering with was our agents here. Let me go back into the callback. Our agents here, we actually can tell it to load commands. So like we didn't have a command set up to dynamically load sleep here. So we couldn't change the last check-in value right here. Wait, hold on. 2511. Okay, should be good now. I'm making notes also for the main developer, like, hey, here's kind of bugs we noticed. This last check-in timer is glitched. It doesn't display properly whenever we change the sleep timer. It's like we changed it to 3 seconds, and then it's still saying like 20. It would say like 21, 22, 23, 21, 22, 23. Then we changed it to 0, and you can see it just kind of spazzing out between 21 and 22. So there's tiny little errors like that. And we might actually try to dig into the code to fix some of those bugs. But that's a ways down the line. Right now, I'm just learning the functionality of it before we start tearing it apart. Actually, let's see what commands do we have. Ticket extract, ticket cache list. Let's try that. Just see what it'll do. Oh, not bad. Cobalt. So Cobalt is one way of doing C2, and this is a new tool. Is another way. Yeah, exactly. So Cobalt Strike, and also the interface is different because Cobalt Strike used a Java thick client to do all this. So I could have whatever the .NET binaries I wanted to dynamically load over into the agent and run. I could just reference a local folder path, right? I can't do that on here because this is a web client. So there's a way to stage whatever the binary you want to use over into the agent. And so I want to see, okay, is that actually staging it like in memory on the machine? Or is that staging it like on the server, and then the server sends it up there and executes it whenever we do that? So it's just those tiny little offset considerations that we're going to just kind of mess around with a bit. Oh, that's cool. So like, here's our LUID. For local user. Okay, this is a little bit different because we ran this. Even though we had connection to it as Mr. Stark, we didn't run this as Stark. So let's go do that real quick, actually. So if we run /, we'll run a second copy of our agent here, http.exe, and we'll see a second callback come in. There we go. And this is going to come back as system right here. So if we interact with this one, I'm curious, what if I change the sleep value now? Oh, look at that. So, oh wait, it is a different, okay, and that's not actually so surprising, because it's a different process, right? We loaded the sleep command into callback 1. That's process 2968. We're now in process 4576, so that's not surprising. But let's load the sleep command. So that way we can change the callback on this one. So you see how up here the current sleep is like, I don't know what, maybe 10 seconds? Yeah, I think it's like 10 seconds right here. So it compiles it and then sends it up to it. But we have to, it takes several iterations. This is actually really cool. It tells you, hey, the agent's processing this, and we should get some data back in just a second. And that was one of the things that I really didn't like on Cobalt Strike was you didn't know where in the process it was, like when you executed commands and you had delays between it. This feedback right here is very nice. I like that. Yeah. Oh, my wrist. I did wrist curls today. It made my carpal tunnel flare up. Alright, so the sleep command loaded. So now if we do sleep 0. Okay, so look, it's doing the exact same thing here. It's locked at 22 seconds. So there's something on the last check-in here that's causing a timing delay to this. That's what it's doing. So maybe we'll dig into that a little bit later. But let's see what else we want to do here. So we can't do execute assembly right now because we don't have any assemblies built. But we do have some built-in ticket commands. If we do help, I think it lists like all the commands we can run. So ticket cache add, which is additive. Yeah, dude. I mean, I watch what's his name? I watched Pirate Software during the day, and he said, "Hey, man, the soundtrack's not open source, right?" And I don't even remember if you needed to actually buy it, but I bought it on Steam, loaded up into the stream so I could use it because he said, "Yeah, if you want to use it for streams or videos, knock yourself out." I bet he gets some really sick like analytics on that too. Like he can see like how many videos like kind of come up. I bet he could. All right, so ticket cache list all Kerberos tickets in the current logon session, or if elevated, list all tickets for all logon sessions. Optionally, while elevated, a single LUID can be provided to list the enumerations. So we can do a ticket cache purge, remove the specified ticket from a system. We can add a Kerberos ticket to the agent's internal ticket store. Okay, cool. Okay, so we have a ticket store kind of like we had, crap, what was that called? We had the token store in Cobalt Strike. But we also have a ticket store here. Squeeze. Very nice. So let's do, ticket cache list, okay. What else do we have? Ticket store list, ticket store purge. Okay. So I think I want to do is let's do a ticket cache list here. The interface, it doesn't scale super, looks like, because I've had it blown up so it's readable on the stream. That is kind of one of the detractors. Because of all these collapsible kind of events, makes it a little weird. All right, so what do we have? So we've got a couple LUIDs in here. Dude, we can change the syntax. What if I change that to a markdown? Auto format JSON. Oh, so we only have like one ticket in here, which is for local user, which is kind of weird because, well, it's local users curve TGT. It's his TGT. That's not. Yes, that's not all that weird. What about DC? What options we've got for load? Oh, here we go. So we can run the load command. We get this cool little pop-up, and we can see like what options we've got. So we have assembly inject, block DLLs, cat, CD, execute, PE, get injection techniques, keylog inject, net DC list. Oh, very cool. I want to see if like we have like a Mimikatz or anything for like dumping credentials. I think that register assembly is what we have to do before we can execute the assembly. Let's see, register file, rev to self, spawn to, steal token. Actually, let's load. Can we load multiple commands, or do we just have to load them one at a time? Let's load the steal token command. Who cares? So if we wanted to force a ticket for Rob, what we'd have to do is this. We can come up here and we could grab our... We could grab this, and instead of impact it PS exec, we could do WMI exec right here. WMI exec, and I don't think we have to. So now what we should see is it works. So if we go do that ticket cache again, we should start seeing another Kerberos ticket pop up. Ticket cache list. Okay, so this is our local cache right now. This is not like listing the tickets in memory, right? Which makes more sense. So like I was expecting to see more. This is just the ticket we've got for like our local process, because this is running a system right here. Yeah. Let's see. So, anything else we want to do? I'm surprised I've actually been doing so good. I feel kind of cruddy. I didn't know how long I was going to stream tonight. Think about this. But I think I finally hit that wall. Because like I didn't think I was gonna be as peppy as I am during the stream. Because like I said, I was feeling pretty rough. I was supposed to go out to Dallas Hackers tonight, and I just didn't make it because I thought I was coming down with something. Alright, so what other ticket commands do we have? Ticket, purge, ticket store. What if we do ticket store list? I don't think there should be anything in there. No. I don't know if we have any other ticket commands we can do. I gotta zoom this out a bit. That didn't help, actually. Actually, that didn't really help any. Yeah, so we would need either like a BOF that we could use. A BOF or COF or a .NET assembly. So it'd be nice if we had like a Rubius assembly, but we don't have one. Oh wait, there is a Mimikatz one. I was looking for that earlier. Load Mimikatz. Bro. Compiling it, but in an error. I wonder why it did that. Can I reload that? I'm gonna try to type in the command. Load, execute, PE, yes. Try it again. One or more commands is not found in the task library. Okay, maybe we need to, rather than doing execute, do these together. Let's try these two. Alright, so that works. Now what if we just do Mimikatz next to it? Load Mimikatz? One or more commands were not found in the task library. Because I just did a load command. We saw Mimikatz in there. Over there. Weird. It's so odd. I wonder. Okay, so that's another interesting one. So for some reason, the load Mimikatz just doesn't want to work on there. Let's see. Nothing at the moment, just Dan. We're just tinkering around. I'm just trying to get a feel for how this functions. It's kind of in a weird state right now because I'm pretty sure this is like roughly a 1080. Well, I mean, it's roughly a 1080p interface, but then also I've got it zoomed in, so the screen real estate gets kind of funky. And so I wanted to do a couple of execute assemblies just to mess with it, like check Kerberos tickets and stuff. I don't have a compiled version of Rubius though, and our Commando VM, which was supposed to be our host to do those compilations, is inaccessible. So just a tad bit. Let's see. So, because we have access to the domain controller, so I just wanted to see what we've got. Let's see. What else could we do with this? Run a system level shell. We could just go add ourselves like a domain admin, do other stuff. So let's go look at something real quick. Yeah, we could always do a K-list too. Actually, it's funny you mention that because I forget about K-list because I was just used to doing like Rubius triage. Interesting that Jon Snow has MySQL admin privileges on server too. Oh, there we go. This is what Laffin was talking about. This is the one specifically marked with no defender. Oh, so Rob, I guess, has RDP access over to Castle Black? Because he didn't have PS exec. Didn't have WMI exec. But maybe he's got RDP access to it. I kind of want to try that now. What do you think? I want to go with this next. For some reason, the chat off to the side keeps twitching. It's messing me up. Because one of the other things we could do is, like, look at the trust files that we've got in here. How do we load PowerShell? Let's think about that, because another one we did is we did PowerShell and PowerPick. I think there is a PowerPick command in the Apollo agent. Let's go try that. Load. Fisherman Gabbro. I love these usernames. Thanks for coming online, man. Welcome. I'm pretty sure there's a PowerShell and a PowerPick command in here. There, we gotta pass the hash. We got a present working directory. There you go. There's PowerPick. Let's go and load that. Load up a little PowerPick action. Loaded PowerPick. Awesome. So if we do PowerPick get AD users. Oh, maybe it's just get AD user. Nope, this. What? Oh, I think I need to add attack filter star to that. That's the built-in get 80 user. It's not. Yeah, there we go. It's not the one from like Power View. Actually, that's another thing. So, is there like a? Do we have a PowerShell import? So PowerShell, yeah, PowerShell import. So let's load. Let's task that to load, and then we should have some Windows tools available to us here in Kali because we installed a bunch of meta packages. I believe that's in. What's that? I think it's in user share Windows binaries. I'm gonna change this view. No, not like that. There we go. Let's see. There we go. Windows binaries. So we got XC to back, Klog, Netcat, Random, enum plus, fgdump. Okay, so a couple of handy tools, but nothing super great. So what we could do is I'm just gonna run PowerShell import because I'm curious to see. Loaded the register file. Okay. So we compiled the register file, compiled it, loaded it. We can play this real quick. Yeah, loaded. So we have execute PE in there. We've also got loaded register file. So import command. We have power pick. That's it. Oh, register file is the command. Okay. There we go. Dude, let's try something. Help register file. Will that give us like a help loadout to it? Nice. Register an assembly. Register a file to later use in the agent. Okay. So it says an assembly, but when we did load PowerShell import, it did that. So I bet if we register a file in here, we can do that. Let's go do something real quick. Let's go grab a copy of PowerSploit. PowerSploit GitHub. I'm pretty sure this is the one that had Power View. Yeah. 4 years ago, Armjoy updated the README. Let's go grab a copy. So what I'd like to do is, I'll actually come in here and I usually make like a tools directory, and then put all the tools I'll use there. So git clone. Okay, let's go see if we can register Power View in there and just start messing around with it. We do register file, and I believe that it's going to come up. Yeah, okay, this makes a lot of sense, right? Because the browser doesn't have direct file read access like we had with the thick client for Cobalt Strike. So I was wondering how this was going to happen. All right, this is cool. Hi, Gusta. Let's go home. Let's go to tools, PowerSploit, Recon, and then Power View. Yes. PowerView.ps1 will not be imported in PowerShell commands. Nice. Very cool. So now if I do... Now, does it register it for PowerPick also? Because we didn't load the PowerShell command. That loads up a managed PowerShell. We did PowerPick, which should load unmanaged PowerShell. Inject PowerShell loader assembly into a sacrificial process and execute. Yeah. So let's go try that. PowerPick get AD. Get 80 users. We'll be able to tell which version it's using by if it errors. Okay, so it didn't error immediately, so we're using the power... I take it back. It did error, so it's still using that version there. Crap. I'm trying to remember what commands we had for Power View that aren't in the RSAT tools. Power exploit. Let's go see recon. I think get domain might be. We'll try that. PowerPick get domain. Hey, okay, cool. So that's neat that it auto-references it. Or I guess it stages the file, realizes it's a PowerShell one. It realizes that's a PowerShell file, includes it automatically whenever PowerShell or PowerPick is run, and then imports it as it's being loaded. All right. Cool. I think I'm tracking now. Let's see here. Let's just test out another one. Try to get domain OU. Let's check out what OUs we got. It's going to be a fat list because it's just going to get every OU. So we're going to get all the built-ins plus all the extra custom ones. Drag this up. Oh, no, I guess it's not such a bad list. Let's see. This one doesn't have a name. I wonder what this actually is here. There's an LDAP OU. Interesting. And then we have domain controllers. Okay. Very basic stuff. Let me think about this. Anything else I want to kind of tinker with tonight? I'm thinking about it. No, so I think we've got a little bit better grasp on how the agents are functioning. So I think tomorrow night what we'll do is we'll kind of just run down the topics that we did in RTO, and we'll try and find equivalents to these. What I might do tomorrow is see if I can't either fix this commando VM or just nope it out and put in like a basic Windows 11 VM in its place. Just something so we can have a place to go compile those binaries. Because there's tools that I'm going to want to use in there. Rubius, namely, being one of them, right? Actually, there are other Binkit object files that we can use. Let's go look for that real quick. Rubius beacon object. TrustedSec has their situational awareness buff. Actually, that would be kind of cool. Buff objects, buff collection, set of buffs useful in enumeration and exploitation. Where am I? Let's see, there's outflank, executing .NET assemblies, inject assembly, exploitation. Interesting. Silent LSAS step uses direct syscalls generated from inline whispers to dump LSAS process via the silent process exit mechanism into temp. Nice. This bot will attempt to unhook userland APIs to bypass EDR. Sort of the Hail Mary for attempting to unhook APIs. Nice. And that's why there's stuff like this is more that things that I'm hoping that this Windows Security Internals book will help us understand a bit more. So this is a BOF targeted curb roasting against an SPN. BOF template, BOF hound, offline bloodhound ingester, and LDAP parser used by Trusted Sex, LDAP search. Okay. Let's see Rubius mentioned. Well, it's mentioned in the inject assembly. We should just go make our own. Do our own buff from 0 point. What's it say? Don't be rude, stay, avoiding fork and run .NET execution with inline execute assembly. Okay. Some of you love it, some of you hate it, but at this point, it should come as no surprise that .NET Tradecraft is here to stay. Yeah, it's here to stay, alright, because it's still happening, and this was from 2021. Let's see. A little bit of background. I'm going to say this for another time because, man, I really have hit the wall. Whatever is wearing me out is wearing me out. Let's go ahead and find somebody to go raid out to. I don't think there's anybody on InfoSec streams usually this time of night, but I always like to check. The Black Hat Knock, which is essentially a glorified DJ. If I'm going to go raid a DJ, I'm going to go raid a real DJ. Let's go check, see if anybody's doing anything cool in science and tech. I'm honestly surprised there's 14 people watching the Black Hat Knock. It's an empty room with music. This guy's doing PC building, AI's tutorials. Not much going on there. What about the guys over in software and game development? It seems to be usually a lot more game, a lot less software. Let's see, ASMR programming. Yeah, there you go. Looking up backgrounds, this guy is doing a bunch of games. If anybody has any suggestions on who we could raid out to, please drop them in the chat. We'll go hit them. Actually, let me check something else real quick. See if I've got anybody usually follow that's on there. You know what, Coding with Strangers is on. He's always fun to watch. Oh no, we're not rating Soy Milk. Soy Milk's doing she's doing a karaoke stream. Actually, this guy might be fun to go raid. He's making a ball robot. I don't know why I didn't see him on the stream. Yeah, electronics are always really awesome. Let's see what he's doing. All right, fun. And that's what we're going to call it for tonight, because like I said, I hit the wall hard. I didn't even know if I was going to stream tonight, so I'm surprised I went for the full time. Everyone, have a good rest of your Wednesday. Tomorrow's Thursday. Kick ass at it. Finish off the week strong. And remember, Friday, no stream. It is a read-only day. Read-only Friday if you value your weekend. Do not push to production on Friday. So, all y'all, have a fantastic night. I just want y'all to remember one thing. I love you. Peace.